Hey, this is Corey Mumper Stockton. I'm the lead content designer on World of Warcraft, and you're listening to the Epic Podcast.
This is the beginning and the end.
You're listening to the Epic Podcast Show with your hosts, Lignar, Walmardian,
He told me to tie her up and do whatever I wanted to her. So I took a stereo.
and Medicakes.
Do you think the expansion will make me fat?
Enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Howdy, folks. You're listening to Epic Podcast for the WoW community, and I just noticed my name is next to this part in the show notes. I have with me, as usual, my co-host Medicakes and Marty. And how you guys doing?
Hey.
So I worked so hard on these show notes, and you just now notice.
Oh, come on. Do you really read the show notes when I do them before the show starts?
3 letters, and he just skips right over them. Kind of important ones.
Yeah, like I'm kind of bopping along to the intro, and I look over to the show notes. I'm like, oh shit, how does that go again?
I was bopping along too. I was just like, you know what? I don't know. I'm really ready for a show today. So.
Me too.
Woohoo! A couple things to talk about.
A couple, yeah. So before we jump into that, what you been into this week? Let's start with you, Joe.
Golly. Well, my 24th 90 dinged yesterday.
Jesus Christ. I mean, grats.
Yeah. Third hunter too, which is kind of funny considering I've got another hunter coming my way via the
poor
listeners.
thing.
You know what though? I actually kind of like hunters now. I've gotten better. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's actually why it was in between that monk or shaman that I was hoping would win. So. But yeah, being able to shoot on the run and all that stuff, having a lot of fun with PvP on that character. So had a lot of fun leveling that one. Moved up my Reliant Shaman a touch. He's 71 now. And just, again, recorded some more Onward for level 90 part 2 yesterday with my friend Xerxes. So we've got some good stuff. We finally get off the Turtle Island and are finally moving into Orgrimmar. First time we've done Onward in the Horde side, so it's going to be interesting seeing some Horde side, seeing some zones.
Oh man, I'm going to get so drunk off of this water. Hold on.
Some zones that we didn't get to see in the original series. So we're looking forward to that. So that's pretty much been my week. What about you there, Maddie?
Hold on, I'm typing. Okay, there we go.
Squirrel!
Squirrel! FERT rating, I'm very, 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 very proud of the FERT team because last week, we were on that horrible dinosaur called Thok and kind of still trying to figure out the mechanics and the kinks. And what was it? Sunday? No, it wasn't Sunday. Thursday?
It was Sunday.
It was Sunday? We finally kicked that dinosaur's ass.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy and so proud. And then we get to run for our lives from Siege Crafter, which is horrible.
Yeah, I'm not really looking.
All the things fight is what I call him.
I'm not really looking forward to that fight. But
So-
I'm iffy. I mean, I'm iffy on raid this week, so because I got travel. So
Right. But we'll see. I think we need to see it a few more times and then work on strategy like we did with Thok, and then we'll get him.
Yeah,
I can't believe that we're in Wing 4 already. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all, but
yeah, so I know some people be like, "Oh, you just made it to Wing 4." But
I also am about to roll a hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Leg is just rolling his eyes. He's like, "Why? You're gonna?"
You heard that?
Yes.
Well, in an empty head that makes a lot of noise. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like, I sign on Thursdays and Sundays to raid. Tuesday is my raid with Hosen Style. And then it's like, and I'm going to guilt trip him. He's not really going to feel any guilt, though. But it's like, my buddy in WoW is gone half the time. So it's like I don't really... We don't get into trouble anymore in WoW. And it's like I'm sniffling. I'm fake crying for you. So I decided that I'm going to enjoy the game on my own. And I wanted to roll either a rogue or a hunter. So I figured I was going to roll a hunter and cry my way through about 20 levels and then delete her. So, and then with the new patch that came out, Loot 2.0 and Diablo, I've been all about Diablo now. Because my monk is a beast. So, that's what I've been up to. Leg. Not much in WoW. Oh, sorry, I spoke to you.
That's true. Not much in WoW. Did some FERT raiding. Had a good time. Good folks. And not been playing as much Hearthstone as I would like to practice for the tournament that I'm going to get my ass handed to me in. I'm not getting ready to roll a hunter or a rogue. Like, it's so funny. Like, you said something about you're wanting to roll a tune and like level up solo, and the two classes you named are the two that I absolutely would not roll.
You don't have to roll the same ones.
No, but I'm just saying, if I were doing what you're doing, like I'm just going to roll a class and level it, solo, I would not pick a hunter or a rogue. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say apparently not. I have been working on my own game. Just doing some... Actually, a lot of what I've been doing the past few days has been kind of grunt work. I'm working on a board game and getting ready to test it out, but I had to do a lot of work with graphics and printing and that kind of stuff to get it all ready so I can test it, and probably going to try to do that tomorrow afternoon, I think. So, I mean, and that's taken not so much a lot of work, but it's taken a lot of time to get everything ready. And I probably went a little bit too extravagant and a little bit too detailed for just doing a first run of a test. But I have everything that I'm going to need next time, right? Because it's just basically I got a map and the units, and I can change how they interact and change the mechanics of the game. And so I have it for next time. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on it, and probably more than I needed to, but that's what I've been spending a lot of my out-of-game time on. And I've been... Let me see. I'm trying to think. I did some other gaming. What did I do? Did play some Diablo. Patch 2.0. I played a little bit this afternoon. Yeah, Loot 2.0. Like I put on Twitter, the loot is better, but there's less of it.
I know what you're talking about.
I just think there's less loot. Like, I would kill giant packs of mobs and, like, get nothing. And, I don't know. Maybe it's... I'm not sure. I don't know what the deal is. I need to go do a little bit of research on crafting, because I know they changed how crafting works a little bit, so I need to do a little bit of research on that too. I'm not really sure what the chat room just said. It's something about Comedy Gold and wear a helmet, and they're talking about the charity stream. I'm not going to try to read back because then I'm going to not talk.
It's basically I made a comment that you should have, if you would have been in my presence, you should have hit me for. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what.
Yeah, that's about all I've been doing. I'm really wanting to, I'm really looking forward to getting my boosted 90, but I'm not going to get it till Warlords itself comes out. I'm really missing the Alliance side. I love my raid team in AIE on the Horde side, but I'm kind of missing like going into Stormwind. Like I like Stormwind. Like I don't like Orgrimmar. I don't like the way it's laid out. I think it's overly confusing. I like Stormwind. I hated Stormwind until I could fly in Stormwind, and now I like Stormwind better. So.
Fly in Orgrimmar.
Yeah, I know you can fly in Orgrimmar, but that doesn't mean I know where I'm going. And in Stormwind, I can go up high and be like, oh, I need to go to the blue roofs to go to this trainer, or I just know where things are, and I know where the things in Orgrimmar that I need are. I always struggle, like if I'm going to Cataclysm content, because I've been running some. Doing like farming mounts, like in Stonecore and stuff, and I always struggle to find where the portals are because I didn't play Horde side on Cataclysm, so I don't know where those portals are to get me to. Well, that's pretty bad. I don't even remember the name of that zone.
Like Hyjal or
no Stonecore. Yeah, Stonecore is the one. Well, Stonecore is the dungeon.
Deep.
Deep Home, yes. Thank you.
Deep Home. Oh, okay.
Like, I always have to, like, just kind of fly around until I find the portals, but I was Alliance side in Cataclysm, so I can just go straight to them. I know where they're at. And I think that's part of why I like Stormwind better, is because I just know it. It's not that I dislike Orgrimmar, I just dislike trying to navigate Orgrimmar. So, but yeah, that's it for me. I'm wanting to play some more Diablo, wanting to play, I'm really wanting to play some Heroes. I'm really wanting that game to come out. So, I'm looking forward to probably tomorrow. They just put out another match to cast. Probably going to do some of that tomorrow. So, that's it for me. So, we got a few things to talk about. You want to... Maybe we could talk about them?
Mm-hmm. So, and who tweeted this out? Clockwork Bells from Twitter?
It was the first one I saw, yeah, but it's kind of all over the place as far as where it all went, or where it all came from.
Computerandvideogames.com, CBGE, came up with the story that Blizzard addresses World of Warcraft's $60 level 90 character boost. Kind of an explanation, too. The expansion increases the World of Warcraft level cap to 100 and gives players the option to instantly increase one player's level to 90. Blizzard lead encounter designer Ian, I don't know how to pronounce the last name still.
Hazacostas.
Thank you. Told Eurogamer, we realized as soon as we came out with the Warlords Draenor boost to 90, we knew that there was going to be demand for more than one. It's tremendously awkward to tell someone that you should buy 2 copies of the expansion just to get a second 90. That's odd. So we knew at that point we were going to have to offer it as a separate service. In terms of pricing, honestly, a big part of that is not wanting to devalue the accomplishment of leveling. If our goal here was to sell as many boosts as possible, we could half the price or more than that, make it $10 or something, and then hardly anyone would ever level a character again. But leveling is something that takes dozens, if not over 100 hours in many cases, and people have put serious time and effort into that, and we don't want to diminish that. Comments?
The only comment I have is in this one, and there was another one that is basically the same content, but different article was at Eurogamer. There was at least one other one that I saw. Nowhere did he say, yes, it's $60. He never said that. Now, he didn't say it wasn't either. So he kind of implied, yes, the $60 price tag is accurate. But, I don't know. I think it kind of goes in line with what you would kind of expect. Yeah, they're right. They put it at a price where they didn't devalue leveling. It definitely has a value.
Mm-hmm.
And Blizzard thinks that value is $60. And I think he's right. If it was $10 and they would sell a metric shit ton of them, don't get me wrong. And they would probably make more money off of it if it was $10. I think. But
probably. For what, $60, I can boost to 1. What if I want to pay $60 to get 6 tunes to 90?
Well, then that's $360.
Is it?
It's $60 per tune.
No. If they did it the $10.
Oh, yeah. Well, then yeah, it'd be $60 for.
I can do math, damn it! Come on.
Well, yeah. I just misunderstood what you're saying. But yeah, it would be $60 for 6 different tunes. And I don't know, he's right. If it was $10, then a lot more people would do it, and they would probably make a lot more money. But I don't know. I'll probably buy one, not right away, but I'll probably buy a boosted tune down the road. So I don't know. The thing is all the conversation that I've seen around this, and Joe's being really quiet.
I'm just letting you guys go.
I say because all the conversation I've seen around this has not stopped talking about, even if it's in jest or even if it's snarky, it's not. The comments all seem to not revolve around the $60. They all seem to revolve around the boost itself. Like, I saw somebody say, oh, well, if you buy a tune, you should have a title forced upon you until you reach level 100. That advertises it. I'm like, no. What purpose does that solve other than to draw ridicule? Nothing. It serves no purpose.
And how do they know each individual's personal situation? It could be a hardcore raider, like somebody in Method, somebody in Blood Legion, that just wants another tune quickly. And I mean, leveling from 90 to 100 is going to be a drop in the hat for them, really.
Right.
And they could probably kick many of these players' ass in difficulty. And yet they're going to want to shame them because they bought a boost to 90. Did that make sense? It just...
No, it doesn't make sense. And I think it was kind of... The comment was made in jest, but then I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like... there shouldn't be... they're talking about proving grounds, which, by the way, folks, if you're going out and doing proving grounds now so you can queue in Warlords, you're wasting your time. Because you're going to have to get silver in those proving grounds before you can queue for heroics and LFR. If you're just doing it because you want to do it, that's fine. But getting silver in the current not challenge modes. Did I say challenge modes? And getting silver in the current proving grounds it's not going to unlock that. It's not a prerequisite because you're going to have to get silver in the Warlords proving grounds. So I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody like, I'm going to go do proving grounds and get that prereq out of the way. You're burning your time unless it's something you just want to do. And I saw somebody ask about, well, is there going to be something like this in order to queue for random battlegrounds, which they haven't said, and I think is a really good question. But then they said, especially for purchased or boosted tunes. I'm like, what difference should it make if it's a boosted tune or not to queue for a random battleground? Except you can't do proving grounds before max level. So you wouldn't be able to level via battlegrounds from 1 to up, whatever. That's the only difference I can see. But if you're going to gate it to queue, it shouldn't matter if it's somebody has a level 90 and they hit 90 and miss and then said, fuck it, I'm out. And then they come back for Warlords. They shouldn't have any different gating than somebody who is a brand new player and they buy miss and they get their Warlords and they get their fresh 90. They shouldn't have any different gating mechanism to get into anything. The two should be identical as far as that's concerned, in my opinion. I don't care if it's a boosted tune or somebody's been playing since alpha of vanilla. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, I kind of went on a little off the rails rant.
A little rant. We even got into proving grounds, which we're going to talk about a bit.
Yeah. Which is his anyways, so
right.
That's cool. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, what were you going to say about this?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, at first I thought 60 was obviously a bit much as the first, But, part of my thought was, just like we talked about, you guys mentioned, if it was cheaper, they would sell more and make more money. That's kind of where my thought was initially. So when it was more than what I thought, predicted, I was surprised. But when they talk about like a standard, they're at least at this point, if it stays 60, talking about purchasing the expansion and keeping it around that, it makes perfect sense. And to make it that priced simply to make sure that it's something that people do when they really, really want it, instead of just doing it as, and like I said, cheapening the leveling experience. That I think it's fine, in my opinion, at that price point. I didn't think they would go that high, and it is, for some people, probably out of their price range or whatever else, but there should be those other considerations. At what point do you just completely, like you guys said, if it was $10, nobody would level again. I mean, hardly anybody would level.
I sure as fuck wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. And that may.
At that point, why not just change the game to where you start at level 90?
Mm-hmm. And so. And honestly, that's kind of why I thought we'd get another Hero Classic as an expansion. But this was Not something I would have predicted, but yeah, I figured they would do something to help people get past some of this. So I'm fine with the price point at this point. For me personally, of course, I don't need it, don't care, doesn't affect me at all. But I do think that if you want that kind of jump in the game, there should be something to it. It should be weighty. It should be a hefty price to pay.
Right.
So it sucks that it's real world money, but hey.
I've heard two things that that I kind of like, right, about this, and it's, in my opinion, it's legitimate player feedback. One was they think DK should have a discount. I kind of agree. Two, I wish they would do it in chunks. Like, I would pay, I'd level up, because you can get from 1 to 60 like quick, right? Mm-hmm. But I think even with the XP nerf, I think BC content is a drag. Like, it might not take longer, but it feels longer to me because I just don't enjoy that content because to me it just seems slow. I would pay $10 to skip BC. Or $10 to skip Cataclysm. You know, the 80 to 85 stuff. I think it would be cool if they said, okay, you can pay $60 for level 90, or along the way you just want to skip a handful of levels, it's $1 a level.
Yeah.
I think that would be
eventually
pretty cool.
We'll see. I think eventually, honestly, we'll see stuff like that. I certainly do think we're going to eventually see these XP boost elixirs and potions and stuff in the store.
I do too.
I really do, and I think that'll be the answer to what you're talking about. Because I'm totally different when it comes to what you're talking about. Because I find the jump from leveling from 58 to 85 really, honestly, extremely fast compared to the previous vanilla content, or, well, honestly, it's cata content, to be honest. But especially 50 to 58 is the worst grind in the game for me. So I would certainly buy a potion or whatever else, because I'm still like farming the Groll of Blade Elixir of Ancient Knowledge ones on my tunes, and I'm not finding it. It's not dropping for me. So I wouldn't mind dropping $5 or something like that and buying one of those and getting me past those 8 levels,
right,
for sure.
Well, and I wasn't trying to suggest that everybody would want to skip BC content. I'm just saying, for me, that's what I would want to skip. If you wanted to skip Wrath or Kata or whatever, I think you're right. I think we're going to see that eventually. And Broomfunnel just said in the chat room, no discount for DKs and he's right. If you don't care, guys, when it comes to Warlords launch and you don't care what your boosted 90, your free 90 is going to be, go roll with DK, and when you come out of the DK starting experience, you're going to be about 58, maybe part way through 58. Go ahead and level up to 60. Go pick some professions, and then when Warlord comes out, boost that bastard if you don't care, and get free level 600 professions for an alt.
It's either 55 or 56 when you start out for the DK.
You start out, but I'm saying when you come out of the DK starting area, you're like level 58.
Right, with heirlooms is like 59 something.
Is there a mailbox in the DK starting area?
There is, actually.
Yes, there is.
Because I haven't rolled a DK since I rolled my first DK, and my only DK.
Down on the ground when you have to go get the arrows.
Oh, okay.
Town, yeah. That's my AIE character is a DK. That's the only reason I know that.
Gotcha. But I mean, yeah, if you're sitting here looking at Warlords and you don't know what you want your boosted 90 to be, and you just don't care, that's a free way to get at least level 600 professions on an alt. If you got a couple professions you don't have covered with an alt. So, anyway,
indeed,
we've talked about that quite a bit.
Yep, but less so than most. So I think we're fine. And there was no like screaming or gnashing of teeth, so I think we're good.
Yay! There are several sites that have come out with some gameplay footage of Warlords, and it was from the president, and they're linked in MMO Champion. I would post a link in the chat room here. Okay. I am going to warn you people, some of these do have spoilers. I don't think this one does. This one just has gameplay footage. There is another one on MMO Champ that does have some of the end storyline and spoilers. So I would warn people about that. But I found this video interesting just because I could see the updated orc models and how they moved, and the dwarves and the gnomes. That was pretty fun to watch. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and you can also see, if you're quick, some of the talents have kind of been changed since what we saw at BlizzCon. A note about the spoiler: if you go to that MMO page, it's blacked out. You have to highlight it to see the text and everything. The other note is, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's not the end. It's the end of Shadow Moon Valley.
Okay.
So it's something that happens as you quest through Shadow Moon Valley. That's like the final part of Shadow Moon Valley. That's what happens. I read the spoiler. I'm not gonna put the spoiler here, but to me, I know a lot of people are like, and I said this on the Epic update I put on the YouTube channel, but I'm gonna say it again. People are like, I don't want to see the spoilers. When this goes beta, you're not gonna be able to avoid them.
Right.
So if you don't want to see the spoilers, don't expect other people to not post them. That's the world we live in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the way I was thinking about this, because I want to avoid spoilers, even though I'm hoping to get in the beta and do some stuff in there for videos and stuff, of course. But I'd like to avoid some. But then I think back to the first Garrosh kill. And all the just everybody talking about who the new Wharf Chief is,
right.
and all the videos from the cinematics at the end and everything. Yeah, there was no way to avoid that stuff. Just casual conversation, Twitter, everything. There was no, and it's going to be the exact same thing.
Yeah, when Warlords goes beta, people are going to be streaming it. People are going to be making YouTube videos of it. People are going to be talking about it on Twitter. And unfortunately, if you hate spoilers, unfortunately that sucks for you. But don't expect the entire internet to not talk about something that you don't want them to talk about. If you don't want the spoilers, you're going to have to unplug from the internet, unfollow people, stop watching YouTube videos, whatever. Yeah. And I know that sounds really harsh, but that's the world we live in. The example I gave in the Epic update on YouTube was, I'm not a huge Walking Dead fan. I still watch the show, but I still get pissed off if I go to CNN website or Fox News website and there's right there that so-and-so died. I'm like, fucker, really? I haven't watched the show yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the world we live in, and I have to accept that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my weather guy in Charlotte blew a huge spoiler for me at the end of the first half of this season.
Right.
I was like, my weather guy?
Right,
what?
And I went that day, because I go to all the major news outlets to, because I figure somewhere in between all of their bias, you might get some truth. And one of them, the headline was who died in Walking Dead? And boom, right there's a picture of the character that died.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You can't even you didn't even convince me to click on the article now because you already fucking told me.
Right. Well, if you, I know, I'm assuming that you've watched the stuff and saw the stuff because you talked a little bit about how you didn't want to spoil anything.
I didn't watch all of the videos, but
okay.
I did read the spoiler on.
Okay. See, that's what I'm wondering, if the video contains the spoiler. I have no idea. I haven't looked at anything. Okay. Well, I'm curious to look at the footage. I don't want to see too much, but at this point, like you said, I'm gonna end up seeing it in whatever eventually. So I don't know why I should prevent myself at this point, but I am curious to see how much of that is in the video. So I don't know. I'm looking forward. I like the fact, honestly. I mean, I don't want to elongate this part of the conversation too much, but I'm honestly happy that the end of a starting zone has something interesting to it. Enough that people are talking about it.
Right, and it's a big deal. But at the same time, I guess I said starting zone earlier, and you just said it. It's not. It's our first zone. It's not a starting zone, but that's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's an event that happens at the end of the first zone on one side, not even for Horde too. So, and the thing is it's probably just a MacGuffin that is a motivator for us to continue on. And I'm not downplaying that thing, but I'm just it's not the overall story. It's not like we just ruined who the big bad was of the whole expansion and what the ending cinematic is. No.
Yeah.
So.
Well, at least that tells me the story is important in this expansion already, and that makes me excited.
Yeah, I agree. And the one thing I will say is it's definitely not warm and fuzzy.
Good. It's got to be savage.
Right, yeah. So, Maddie, did you have anything to add about the spoiler? Or? All right. Well, I'll go ahead and take the next one since my name's next to it. We kind of talked about it a little bit ago. But more and more dev interviews. We again mentioned this on the YouTube video. And guys, if you're not checking the YouTube channel, usually on like Thursday or Friday, there's something that comes out after we record the show. I do a quick, like a 3 or 4 minute video and throw it up on YouTube if I can. I don't know that that's going to be able to go down this week because I'm traveling, so I'm not sure I'm going to get one out this week. But that's kind of the plan, is maybe on a Thursday or Friday if something comes out, I'll put it up there. And it's not just WoW, it's Heroes and Diablo and all that kind of stuff too. So, but there's some talk about in some of the interviews. Excuse me, I had to mute and clear my throat there. Again with Ian Hazacostas. I think it's Hazacostas. Is it Costas?
I think it's Costas too, actually.
I think it's Hazacostas, but I just want to say Costas because of Bob Costas. And hopefully Ian's eyes never get like that.
Oh, I knew somebody was going to go there.
I had to. The first raid, they're going to schedule the raids opening kind of like they did at the beginning of Mists. The first raid will open in the second week of the expansion, which I have heard some people phrase that incorrectly when they said 2 weeks after. No, it's 1 week after the launch. It's the second week. So it's going to launch on Tuesday. And let's just say for sake of argument, it launches on, I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I'm going to pick up a date and it's going to be wrong. So let's say it launches on the 1st of June, for example. And I don't think that's a Tuesday. Pretty sure it's not. Then on the 8th, the first raid will be open, not the 15th. But I've heard some people say 2 weeks after launch, and it's not. It's the second week. The second raid will open a few weeks after that, and only the raid finder difficulty will be gated by wing. All other difficulties will be open when they are released. So on that first maintenance day after launch, normal, heroic, and mythic will be available. Well, technically mythic won't be because you have to... Well, I don't know. Because they said at BlizzCon that they didn't know if you would have to clear heroic before you could go into mythic. Mm-hmm. And so this kind of implies that you won't. You'll be able to go straight into it. This could just be maybe a poorly worded sentence or, whatever. Raids will be less linear. Thank you, Blizz. Giving you more of a choice of which boss to do every night.
Her, please.
The first world boss will be released with the expansion, with more being released as time goes on. Hopefully there's more than one. And I don't like... What's the guy that's in Valley of the Four Winds? That world boss.
Galleon?
Yeah, I don't like how they did that. Because at the time I had a job. And I never got a chance to kill him. Because right after reset, he's there, people go kill him. He didn't spawn again for a week. I never got a chance to kill him until it was pointless. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like how they did that. And since they changed their mind on that with PvP about having set times, which they're effectively doing with Galleon, right? Since they changed their minds on the Trial of the Gladiator, I think as it was called, with the specific times, maybe they'll not do that with world bosses again. Because I didn't get to kill him until the next patch. Till his respawn timer was shortened, and then whatever he drops, aside from whatever pets or whatever, is pointless. Proving Grounds will be updated and expanded, making it a requirement to queue for random heroic dungeons. The amount of loot that will drop when you're not using personal loot depends on the number of players in a raid that are eligible for loot on that boss. If almost everyone in a raid is locked out of loot for that boss for that week, there is a chance no loot will drop, which is interesting. And it also sounds like you can turn on LFR style loot and turn it off.
Did you skip over the third one in this bullet list?
Yeah, because I'm not a healer, but I'll go ahead and read it. Raid encounters will have more interesting mechanics for healers, allowing them to avoid the boredom that comes with just spamming the same skill over and over.
Bring it on! This makes me happy.
Are you bored?
I am bored. I'm sorry, but I'm bored. Especially on that Hall of Paladin.
I wish they would do something similar for tanks rather than, taunt on 6 stacks. You know what I mean? I mean, tanks got the active mitigation thing, but after you've done active mitigation for all of Cataclysm, and now all of Mists of Pandaria, you've been doing it for 3 years or so, gets kind of boring. I don't even tank anymore, but it's still, I don't know. I think tanking's kind of fun, but it's also it's weird. It's normal dungeon loot will give you enough gear to get to Raid Finder, so people who are freaking out about not having to go do Proving Grounds before they can get the loot, you don't need it to go into Raid Finder. You can still go into Raid Finder. While Heroic Dungeon loot will help you gear up for normal raids, they haven't said whether or not like Heroic Dungeons and LFR, they haven't like put out the eye levels that I've seen on where they're going to fall. But if Heroic Dungeons drop the same eye level as LFR gear, thank you, Blizzard, for making it to where I don't need to ever run LFR again, unless you give me another stupid fucking legendary quest where I have to get random drops off of bosses. It's just a giant grind that I kind of am now forced to go run LFR so I can get them. Please don't do that. They're going to do that. I know they are.
Something like that. I definitely want to avoid LFR if I can.
Challenge mode daily quests have a chance, maybe not, it's ambiguous, to give you an epic item of Raid Finder quality if you complete it with a bronze or better time.
I like that.
I kind of like that. It kind of encourages more people to go to challenge modes. If the level 90 boost gives you your first high-level character, there will be a starting experience that introduces you to your skills slowly rather than giving them to you all at once, similar to the DK starting experience.
Bam, there you go. Stop your bitching, people.
But they've said that that's not going to be in the game until Warlords comes out. So like the pre-sales, they're not going to have that. So if somebody's got Warlords or somebody's got Mists right now, but they don't have a level 90, they could just buy a level 90 and they're not going to have that.
Yeah, well.
And the other thing is I don't think the way this is worded, it's not necessarily going to be this is your first high-level priest or this is your first high-level shaman. It's just your first high-level character. See what I mean?
All right.
So, so you could do, get your boost, whatever, and then if you went and spent $60, you don't have to go through that again, apparently. And it says about 20% of the class skills and abilities have been removed to help address ability bloat. We've talked about this a few times, about what you would expect, and like arcane mages now have one button, literally, if that's the case. Or maybe even less than one button. Ashran will use players from multiple realms to balance factions in the zone. I don't know what they mean by Ashran. Oh, Ashran's the PvP zone. Kind of like Winter Grasp. I'm glad they're bringing that back. They didn't have that in Mists. I'm kind of glad they're bringing something like that back. I'm hoping there's not a raid behind it like in Wrath and Cataclysm, but then again, I kind of am hoping there is. I'm not sure if there is or not. Do you guys know?
Mm-mm.
Because that was always one of those, what do you want to do now? Hey, this is getting ready to start. You want to queue for that? Yeah, let's go do it. I always found that fun. Like, I'm not a huge PvP player, but I always thought those were fun. Even Tolbarad I thought was kind of fun. Mainly because I was there with my friends and we were making asses of ourselves. But we were having fun, and that's what fucking video games are all about, folks.
Yeah, there is that.
I think that's it for this one. So moving on to the next one, which also has my name. There's even more interviews, which beta's soon. I'm honestly expecting it to come out like tomorrow because I'm leaving town Friday.
Of course.
So
of course.
Yeah, that's
going into March too. So
right. The team has been working hard since BlizzCon to make content. I should fucking hope so. They've even added another boss to the High Mall raid since they gave us the preview of BlizzCon, which is cool. And they did say that Gul'dan is not the threat in Warlords. Gromosh and the Iron Horde are. Gul'dan might even be an ally against them, which is definitely highlighting the alternate part of alternate history that they've talked about. And and I hate, and maybe I feel like the devs kind of have their blinders on when they say things like casters have slightly too many instant cast spells. not all casters do. I've got 2. Actually, I've got 1 on my Shadow Priest, unless I'm talented a certain way. Then I gotta depend on a proc to have my instant cast spell. I've got Shadow Word Pain. That's all I've got. That's an instant cast spell. And then there's other situationals if I've got From Darkness Comes Light, and those the right talents, or there's Shadow Word Death, but the target has to be below 25% health, or maybe it's 35. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't personally have, so if they're trying to take away a lot of these instant cast spells and cast on the moves, I might be changing mains, because if they're going to try to take them all away, and it's proportional, if they take the same amount away from me as they take away from, say, a hunter or mage or whatever, I'm not going to enjoy playing my priest anymore, because it's literally, if you have to move on this fight, your DPS is going to blow. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm not too happy about that. They have said that melee used to be the master of damage on the move compared to range, but over time, range got more and more abilities that allowed them to damage on the move. No hotbox. Lig is not going hunter.
Yes. Go monk.
Lig will go back to tanking.
We should all make hunters, and it could be called Epic Hunters.
So yeah, it's... And they did say that sometimes the talents will change, and I'm not sure what they mean by this. They said that when it makes sense in Warlords for one spec to have one talent option while another spec will have access to another, almost all of the level 100 talents work this way, and some other talents work like this. I don't understand what they mean. They've talked about it a little bit, especially with Warriors, about Berserk, whatever talent it is, and when you're in Protection spec versus Fury or whatever. Because right now as a Shadow Priest I have, or priests, not just Shadow Priests, but if you take From Darkness Comes Light, the tooltip will tell you. Now if they're talking about just changing the tooltip to show you what it does, cool. But to where it only shows you for the active spec, I mean. But like if you have From Darkness Comes Light, even if you don't, you mouse over it on your priest and it'll say if you're holy it does this, if you're disciplined it does this, if you're shadow it does this. Same thing with Solace and Insanity, which is the same tier, but I don't know exactly what they mean about it's going to change for specs, because it already does. At least for priests. I don't, you guys see what I mean? Like I don't really, and I probably will understand it when I see it, but I haven't actually seen it. So, basically it's a lot more of the same stuff about dungeons and raids, and I'm glad they're doing normal dungeons at max level. I'm glad they're bringing that back. I miss that in Mists. I'm glad that heroics are going to be more difficult than they are now. I think Mists, like people talked about how easy they were in Wrath. Holy shit, these are painfully easy, I think. Even in Kata, when we kind of outgeared the original, the launch dungeons, even when you outgeared it, you still kind of had to follow some of the mechanics, because some of them did have insta-kill mechanics. Is it Osrook in Stonecore?
The stone?
Yeah.
Thank you, stone dude, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't an instant kill. Like if you were raiding Dragon Soul, it wasn't an instant kill, but it hurt like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they need to bring that style of dungeons back. They're not part of the gear progression curve that they expect. They also have said that they don't expect LFR to be part of the gear progression curve. Thank you, Blizz. Which kind of makes me think that the heroic dungeons are going to kind of fill in that gap with gear. I would much rather farm 5-mans all day with some of the FERT raid team than ever queue into LFR. You know what I mean? So...
yeah. Well, I'm happy for mythic dungeons. Or not mythic dungeons, but the what do they call them? Do they call them mythic?
They're calling them heroic. They did,
right?
And I don't know if it's any of these interviews, or I don't remember where, but I did read it, and maybe it was on Twitter, where they did say mythic dungeons are something that they have talked about and may come in the future, but they're not going to be in Warlords at launch.
Right.
So but there might be that extra.
I think heroics are essentially, yeah, maybe if they go up higher, but still, I mean, from what I can gather, regular dungeons will be essentially what heroics are now, where it's just spam run for, badges, whatever else, and then the heroics will be for a real challenge, kind of like heroics at the beginning of Kata, and in BC and stuff. So I'm happy about those options, just in and of itself, because I was really worried about 5-man content going away, almost being extinct.
Right.
So that's where I'm at when it comes to some of this stuff. I mean, I haven't. Where they're gonna go with whether gear and stuff, making Elevar something you can skip. We don't know, but I'm just really, really happy 5-mans are not a thing of the past.
I totally agree. And to kind of go back what I was saying earlier about they haven't, at least that I've seen. I mean, a lot of these interviews, like to read them all or to read the synopses that are out on MMO Champion, a lot of it gets lost in the clutter. It's like the forest for the trees type of thing, only backwards. I don't know if they've said anything about the eye level, and like I'm in the opinion like, okay, if I have to meet Proving Ground Silver to get into random groups for heroic or for LFR, you've given me the same threshold to enter. I should get the same reward. You see what I mean? Maybe not tier pieces. That's fine.
Right.
And I'm fine with not getting tier from a 5-man, but at least give me the same eye level. Especially if it's gonna be more challenging than what current heroics are. I doubt that's going to be the case. I doubt they're going to give us purples. But I don't know. I don't know that they've even made their mind up. But I kind of think if they're going to give me the same threshold to enter, and not give me the same reward, or at least a similar, comparable reward, I think they kind of missed the mark. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with. Well, when you're talking about tier, if they don't include tier, I'll actually be very happy. I'm probably one of the very few people that just never thought tier should be an LFR. I thought that should reserve.
No, I agree.
But I see it both ways, and I don't want to get into that whole thing because, whatever. I don't want to seem like an elitist. It just seemed odd that you would get some of these things that always seem to be reserved for. I mean, some people gave me crap about saying this. Real rating. I don't consider LFR real rating. I don't see how it can be considered real rating when it's face rolling with a bunch of strangers. Rating to me is you have to be organized and you have to have a very distinct attack. I mean, you do have to have some of that, but it's such a low curve that really it's not rating to me. So anyway, but yeah, so I definitely don't want to see tier in that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm not one that says they don't need to put purples and stuff like that, because I don't really get all caught up in purples and all that stuff either. But tier always seemed odd to me being an LFR. I'm glad I've never really talked about that with anybody else. It doesn't seem like anybody else ever felt that way. But
I agree. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I have, like right now, I think I've got a 4-piece on my priest, 4-piece bonus, and one of them is an LFR piece. Right. I'm grateful that it's there because I never did get the other to drop. But Broom Final saying you don't need proving grants for LFR, only for heroics. I've seen both. I've seen a sentence that just says you need it for heroics. I've seen it that says you need it for random groups. So I don't think there's enough clarity around it yet. Some of the stuff that we've seen from interviews and that kind of stuff is ambiguous at best. Some of it is kind of contradictory, depending on which developer was answering the questions. Because they sent Ian to Paris or Versailles, and they sent Helinka out to Korea. Literally 2 guys on the opposite side of the planet doing relatively the same interviews, not given 100% the exact same answers. So
right.
We don't know for sure. Okay, he's saying Watcher said only for heroics. Okay. Then that's the case. I better get a higher eye level than LFR.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. No, and I'm thankful for that whole thing, and I don't think silver to get into the heroics is too much. So
did y'all read what Hyler had said in the chat about wanting the tier in LFR?
Yeah, and I understand that. That's the thing. That's why I don't get into it too much, because I understand both sides of the argument completely. That's what's great about LFR is it gives people an opportunity. I mean, hell, I don't raid. I haven't done any raiding beyond LFR really in this expansion at all. So, for people that don't have that option, I wouldn't necessarily say that they need that taken away from them either. I was coming from a place where I remember that being such a big deal when you were raiding. So it feels a little odd for it to just drop in something you can queue for, I guess is the only way I can put it.
And I think it's a very valid point, and I'm not saying Hyler's wrong. But part of the reason... True, Hyler, you don't need silver for pre-made groups. You need it for the randoms. But part of the reason I don't want tier and LFR is because I don't want to have to run LFR to feel like I should at least try to get that missing piece.
Right.
If it's not, because I loathe LFR. If you like LFR, fine. But I don't like pet battles. Sorry, all y'all who are really into pet battles. Not my thing. I'm not sitting here hating on it and saying it should be taken out of the game. I'm not going to say that about LFR. I just choose to not run it. But when I feel like I could run LFR and maybe get that 4th piece for my set bonus and help my raid team out, I kind of feel guilty for not doing it. And I don't like my video games to make me feel guilty. So
yeah, I agree. And just to throw it out there real quick, feeling guilty is something that I think dailies and stuff did, because it's like if I don't log in every freaking day,
right,
I feel like I'm behind. I'm instantly behind if I miss a day or whatever. So it's one of the reasons why I don't like dailies. But I'm surprised that at one point, I think it was in Wrath, where they made it so you could do your daily heroic bonus or whatever else. You could just do 7 in 1 week. You didn't have to necessarily do one a day. Kata? Okay. I'm hoping they do that again, because I don't like, again, I don't like the obligation of having to log in every
day. They
won't.
And the reason they won't is when Ghost Crawler was asked about that when Miss was coming out, and he said they actually saw less people running 5-mans during Kata compared to Wrath, because people would log in, do their 7, and never run a dungeon the rest of the week. And I'm like, that has to, with as many people playing this game, that has to kind of balance out throughout the week.
I would think so, yeah. But I guess, I mean, if that's legit, then that's legit. Obviously, nobody wants to deal with long queue times and everything else. But
I wish it was there too, because I wouldn't run all 7 in a day, but I'd get my 7 done in a couple days.
It was just easier for me because I worked during the week and whatever else, that I could just plow through them on a Saturday or something.
Right. And that just time or two too.
Seems more flexible to me. And I thought one of the things I liked about Miss is it was a little bit more flexible for giving you, options at endgame. And I was hoping they would continue that. But that makes sense though.
Anyway, we're actually going to have a long show here. If we don't knock this out, and even if we do, we're still going to have a long show.
Well, we're about to go into PvP, so that'll go quick.
Yeah, right.
At least for me.
Oh, me too.
And it's my topic. Yay! So, I guess we're ready for that topic then. Going into Season 15 for PvP, there's a lot of things that I know several PvPers in my guild are there's some interesting reactions to. Base resilience now up is now 77% up from 72%. Battle fatigue now 65% up from 55. So there's lots of little things like that it doesn't affect me at all or anything. I have to say though, as a PvE player who wants to get into PvP sometimes, and I got actually a good set last season, or maybe it was before. I would go to the rares that were in Krasarang, and I would kill them and get honor, and you could just sit there and kill them over and over and over again and keep picking up those little honor tokens. Well, they changed that now, so you only get that honor for them once a day. So that was something that frustrated me, because it was my way of getting out of grinding BGs and stuff to get my honor. So unfortunately, that's pretty much all I'm taking out of this new season. I mean, it is interesting. I mean, because it gave a lot of people kind of a time frame to look at, and at least in hopes of when things would start coming out. But I'm glad it's there. I mean, obviously, we're going to have PvPers are going to have a lot to do in the meantime. Give people to, I still know they're trying to give us stuff to do while we wait. So.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that they bumped base resilience up 5%, and isn't the base resilience just going away in Warlords?
I was gonna say at some point I think that's what they're going for. So I couldn't remember if that's what they were doing in Warlords or not. But so PvP is not my. I'm getting into it a little bit more and more, but sadly, it never has been a big thing for me.
Right, me either. I mean, it's fun to do every now and then, but
I found I enjoyed it more. And I don't know if it's because some of these resilience changes and whatever else, but when I first walked into BGs and stuff, not having a lot of gear, I didn't get lambasted like I had in the past.
You will
I don't know
if they get rid of base resilience.
Well, I'm sure I'll get. I mean, I should anyway because I stink. But I don't know. I felt better about PvP the past few months that I've done it compared to the past. So I don't know. Again, that's just a noob walking in without a lot of gear, though. So they're not going to obviously keep it, targeted towards somebody like that forever. So
right. Well, you got the next thing in the show notes too, and Medi's not saying anything, so I don't know if she wants to say anything about the PvP stuff. I mean,
well, that's what I was kind of wondering.
The new season.
It burns when I PvP.
That might be the episode title.
You might want to see a doctor about that. Anyway. The next part, of course, is about my instant level 90, of course. We all found out that it is going to be a hunter class. Now, at this point, faction pride, folks. This is what it's all about. I get to do it. I actually get to do it. That's awesome. I get to do my medicine right now. Be like, Horde, where are you at? Alliance, where are you at? Oh, that feels good. I always wanted to do that.
No offense. Yes. You don't sound anything like him.
Well, of course not. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. If it was like me and Mets in comparison, it would be twins. It would be Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. If we want to be fair, I would be the genetic throwaway. Oh, it's okay. Trust me, I didn't get a checklist when I came out of my mother's womb. Trust me, I wouldn't have picked half of this.
Dude, that gave me a cramp in my ribs laughing so hard.
Oh, apologize. Didn't mean to make you happy. I'll just knock that shit off now. Anyway, so again, we are picking faction now, folks. So, get your loyalty in. We'll put the straw poll in there, and you guys go vote. I have my leanings, but I've played, both sides. I have one of each class in both factions, so it's not going to bother me either way. You guys, there we go. Yes, link in there. There we go. Yes, so go out there and make this a vote for your, not just for me. I mean, I'll have to endure whatever you guys give me, but take this as an opportunity for you to show your faction pride. Go Alliance or Horde, whichever, and we will see who comes out the winner. What is the date on that one? Do we have a date on that one?
I was just getting ready to pull the calendar up. Give me just a second.
Okay. So, we're going to be picking lots of things, but currently this is the big one.
Let's go with the either the 12th or the 19th. The 12th will be 2 weeks from today. The 19th, 3, obviously.
Okay, I think we had the 19th, if I remember originally. So, yep, until the 19th. You got that, and then we'll move on to the others. But like I said, right now, show your faction pride, folks. Pick your alliance. Go red or blue. Let me know what you think and how you feel about my character. I can't believe we're doing this. I still can't believe I'm going to have a character that's just going to be like basically
I still can't believe we're going to trust people and name it too.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what happens with that. I really can't. That's as exciting to me because it's going to end up being on my account.
Are we doing what gender it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do all that stuff.
Well, okay,
so I vote for Madam Fluffy Bottom.
So we've got. I'm trying to figure out if we want to have the name during our marathon, which we'll get to that in a minute. We've basically got 2 months to get down. We've got the class, we've got the faction going now. Then we need to do race, and then we need to do gender. I mean, that's 3 things we got to do in 8 weeks.
We can manage.
Okay, we'll have to figure it out. So those last couple might be short, guys. Just so you know.
It's fine. We'll figure it out. So, well, if you want to close this down to the 12th instead of the 19th, we can do that too. Either way.
Let's go with the 12th. It's 2 weeks from today, so let's just go with the 12th.
So So ignore what I said earlier, folks. The faction vote will only go to the 12th. So get your votes in. Check the link in the show notes and whatever, so you can go and find out. Like I said, Faction Pride. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, and again, just like for the class selection, I want to thank Revenar for putting that straw poll together for us. So
absolutely, he kicked this whole thing off with the initial one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it was something that we talked about and everything else, but then all of a sudden this poll came up.
So we're getting like 3 months worth of segments for the podcast, and it's all thanks to Revenar.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
yep.
All right. So Medi typed something in the show notes that we're going to go completely. This is not WoW related, I don't think. It kind of is because it's related to BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's kind of WoW related. Oh, goodness gracious. So at BlizzCon, we get there Wednesday, and it's you, myself, Aeon, and just we're all at the Marriott, and we're having drinks. We're meeting like Gimmet and Elfline and everybody, Epic and Sanity, and we start drinking. And apparently, I drank so much that eventually you guys had to cut me off, right?
Well, yeah, we went outside, and you're like, I want to go smoke, so we go outside, and you're finished with the cigarette. Me and Aeon start walking back in, and you're like, no. Like, you refused to walk in without holding one of our hands. Because you didn't think you would make it. And at that point, we were like, she's done.
And I think I had to, like, I was in between both of you, and I was like, la 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 la.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, so I challenged Aeon to a shot race, and it was a blowjob shot. And he beat me. And there's a video out there somewhere on YouTube. And I was so drunk that I ended up retweeting about it too. Well, I had posted on my Facebook that I was very excited, and I had posted it to Olin because I was like, hey, we should be there Wednesday, and of course we need to meet up and have dinner. And I included Aeon. And like my fiance and I went out to go grocery shopping a couple of days ago, and we're outside of Safeway, and my fiance got a call, and it's from his mom, and all of a sudden I just hear his mom speaking in a very loud tone, and he's like, "What? No, she's going to Ohio for the charity. Yeah, the Child's Play charity. Yeah, the one they did last year. No. See, her friend used to live in Texas, but he moved back home to Ohio. What? No, Mom, you should know better than that. Mom, that's the name of the drink. No, Mom, she's not giving everybody... No, Mom. His mom called up, because she's apparently... Sean, posted on my Facebook, he was like, awesome, can't wait, and maybe we can have a blowjob race again. On my Facebook. To where my family could see it.
This is why social media is
his
bad.
mother could see it. So she's calling, my fiance up, asking if I'm giving people blowjobs.
I miss like, all the good things.
I was like, really? I was like, does your mom think I'm some kind of skank? I was really tempted to grab the phone and be like, oh, no, honey, I wouldn't do this for free.
Oh.
Just to trip her up. I was just like, I really cannot believe.
Do you do debit?
Shut up.
I want to be prepared.
So anyway, guys, after that story time, keep an eye on the YouTube channel because God only knows what's going to end up on there.
Hell.
I hope your girlfriend's ready for the insanity that she's going to meet.
The thing is, you probably hear her laughing in the background because she's listening, but she's got like the 2-minute lag from Twitch. So I think your story is just now starting for her. But that does lead us into, speaking of keeping an eye on the YouTube channel, on May 17th, we are doing our second annual Child's Play Marathon. We're going to start at 11 a.m. on Saturday the 17th and go till 11 a.m. the following Sunday, the 18th. Last year we had a goal of $1,000 and we raised a little bit more than that. We raised $1,300-ish. I really don't remember the total amount. I want to say it was like $1,285. But that kind of motivated us. And this year we're going to shoot for $2,500. And we got help from literally people all around the world who chipped in to help us raise that kind of money, and hopefully we can do even more this year. If you're not familiar with Child's Play, you can go to their website at childsplaycharity.org. What they are is an organization that helps kids in Children's Hospital who are stuck there. It started off as mainly Christmas time, but I think they just do year-round now, and they give them games, video games, board games, all kinds of stuff like that, just to kind of help take their mind off of being in the hospital. I mean, they're sick kids. If I was in the hospital as a kid, and it is like it's horrible because you're stuck there, and it's just anything that would I would have loved to have had something like this when I was a kid. But we're gonna have a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff in the works. We've got one idea for sure that's going to be an absolute riot. Hopefully we're going to get some folks in from our raid team to do some stuff. Other folks from Catalyst Gaming Media to do some stuff. And as we get closer, just keep an eye on the website and on our Twitter feed and all that kind of stuff. We'll give you updates about what we have planned. But count on us doing 24 hours of primarily Blizzard games. I can't think of anything else we'd play, especially with the giant slew of games that they have now. They have more than just 3. Hopefully we'll have a Heroes of the Storm beta by then, and we can work some of that in. But as we get closer, we'll keep the website updated, and we'll post stuff on the Twitter feed to let folks know. But kind of save the date there for the 17th. So did I miss anything out of there? Because I just kind of ad-libbed it.
Nope.
Sweet.
Got everything.
Yeah. You're up, Joe.
Oh. Okay. Yes, this is actually, I like this because I get to do my announcer voice thing. Yes. Find us on iTunes and Stitcher. We are Epic Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a review or a thumbs up, or, do both. We like that. We like thumbs in various places. If you're listening via download, join our live chat at 9 p.m. Many really does, too. At 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays at epicpodcast.com/live. And Epic Podcast is a member of Catalyst Gaming Media. Be sure to check out other podcasts, YouTubers, bloggers, webcomics, and more at catalystgamingmedia.com. Also, be sure to check out our forums on the Catalyst site and participate in the growing community there. Trust me, it is growing more and more. I'm really excited about everybody that's popping in there. And there's more I know that are actually petitioning to come in as well. So it's going to be really good. Go to the Epic Podcasts website, of course, at www.epicpodcast.com. Email the show at epicpodcast@gmail.com. Go to the YouTube channel and watch Lig do some casting and various other things. He always does kind of a supplemental to the podcast, usually, like you said, on Thursdays or Fridays. Go to that at youtube.com/theepicpodcast. You can see my stuff at youtube.com/WildMartian. That is WOWMARTIEAN. And, of course, on Twitter, where we chat far too often. You can get us at epic_podcast. Lig is at Lignar. And of course, LIGNAR. I don't know if I had to do that, but I did it. And of course, me at WildMartian, not doing that again. And at Metacakes. Well, it's self-explanatory. So, yeah. All good?
I think we're good.
All right.
Woot.
Had fun, guys. Good show.
Yes.
I'd like to thank the chat room, everybody in the chat room. We had a pretty good sized chat room.
Oh, yeah.
Thank y'all for coming. If we ever did honestly, if I ever got to the point where we couldn't do a live stream for whatever reason, we'd still do the show, but I don't think it'd be as much fun.
No, I mean, we started out doing the show just recording. And not that you're not fun to talk to.
But it's way more fun to have that interaction.
Right.
So, anyway, guys, we actually ran a little bit long, so we probably ought to go ahead and wrap it up. So, I guess until next time. What?
What? What
were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say I might actually get coffee.
Oh. So, all right, guys. Well, until next week, have fun a while, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Blowjob.